Have you ever walked into a bank for something simple and walked out with a financial product you didn't fully understand? If so, you're not alone. According to the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, women over 60 are among the most frequently targeted groups for unsuitable financial products, aggressive sales tactics, and downright scams. The shocking truth is that sometimes these harmful offers come not from strangers on the phone, but from trusted professionals sitting across a desk in your local bank branch. Today, we're going to reveal 5 specific questions that financial advisors and consumer protection lawyers say are major red flags. If a banker asks you these questions, it's time to be very cautious or simply walk away. Before we dive in, let me be absolutely clear. This information is for educational purposes only. Not every banker is trying to take advantage of you, and many banking professionals genuinely want to help their clients. However, the reality is that many bank employees work under intense pressure to sell products and meet sales quotas, sometimes at the expense of what's truly best for their customers. This video will help you recognize when a conversation has shifted from helpful advice to a sales pitch that could put your hard-earned savings at risk. Always consult with an independent financial advisor or attorney before making major financial decisions, especially ones involving large sums of money or complex products. Why are women in your age group specifically targeted? Financial exploitation experts point to several factors. First, many senior women control significant assets, whether from a lifetime of savings, inheritances, life insurance payouts, or proceeds from selling a home. Second, studies show that women of your generation were often less involved in family finances if they were married, meaning some may feel less confident making financial decisions alone. Third, and this is important, you were raised in a time when professionals like bankers, doctors, and lawyers were deeply trusted and rarely questioned. Scammers and aggressive salespeople exploit this trust. According to research from Stanford University, financial abuse costs seniors approximately $36 billion annually, with women making up the majority of victims. But here's the empowering news. Knowledge is your best protection. By recognizing these warning sign questions, you'll be able to protect yourself, make informed decisions, and maintain the financial independence you've worked your whole life to achieve. You have every right to ask questions. Take your time, consult with family or advisors, and say no to any product or service you don't fully understand or don't want. Let's get into the 5 questions you need to watch out for. The first red flag question is, are you handling your finances all alone now? Or variations like, is there anyone helping you with your money decisions? This might sound like a caring, innocent question, but consumer protection attorneys warn that it's often a fishing expedition to determine if you're isolated and making decisions without support. Financial advisors who work with senior protection cases explain that predatory salespeople specifically seek out individuals who don't have family members or advisors reviewing their financial choices because these individuals are easier to pressure into unsuitable products. Why is this question dangerous? When you reveal that you're managing finances independently, perhaps after the death of a spouse or because you've always been independent, it signals to an unscrupulous banker that there's no one who might question their recommendations or spot problems. Research from AARP shows that financial exploitation happens far more frequently to seniors who are socially isolated or who don't discuss financial matters with family members or trusted advisors. The banker might follow up this question by positioning themselves as the trusted helper you need, creating a false sense of dependency. Let me give you a real example. Margaret, a 68-year-old widow, went to her bank to set up automatic bill payments. The banker asked if she was handling everything alone since her husband passed away. When Margaret confirmed she was, the banker expressed concern about how overwhelming finances must be and suggested Margaret needed help managing her investments. Within an hour, Margaret had been convinced to move her simple, low-fee index funds into expensive managed accounts with fees of over 2% annually, losing thousands of dollars each year. She didn't realize until her daughter visited and reviewed her statements that she'd been taken advantage of during a vulnerable moment. How should you respond to this question? You can politely but firmly say something like, "I have a financial advisor I work with," or "I discuss major decisions with my family," or simply, "I'm very comfortable managing my own finances. Thank you." You don't owe the banker details about your personal situation. If they push or seem overly interested in whether you have help, that's a warning sign to be extra cautious about anything they suggest. Remember, you're at the bank for a specific reason, whether it's depositing a check, accessing your safe deposit box, or asking about a specific service. You're not there for unsolicited financial advice. The second warning question is, what are you planning to do with that money when you're making a large deposit or withdrawal? This might seem like friendly conversation, but financial fraud investigators say this is often a setup to pitch you an investment or financial product. While banks do have some legitimate compliance reasons to ask about large transactions, the way the question is asked and what follows matters enormously. A compliance question is typically straightforward and documented. A sales pitch disguised as interest in your welfare is something quite different. Consumer protection lawyers explain that this question allows the banker to tailor a sales pitch to your specific situation. If you say you're keeping it in savings, they'll tell you you're losing money to inflation and should invest. If you say it's from selling your house, they'll suggest complicated annuities or investment packages. If you mention it's for your grandchildren's education, they'll push specific college savings plans that may have high fees. The goal is to prevent you from simply depositing your money in a regular account where it doesn't generate sales commissions for them. According to financial advisors who specialize in elder protection, banks often specifically target customers making large deposits from home sales, insurance settlements, or inheritance. These customers represent significant commission opportunities. A 2021 investigation by the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau found numerous cases where bank employees directed seniors into unsuitable high-risk investments or products with excessive fees immediately after they deposited large sums. Consider what happened to Dorothy, 71 years old, who deposited her $250,000 check from selling her home. The banker asked what she planned to do with the money. Dorothy explained she wanted it safe and accessible, while she looked for a smaller place to buy. The banker warned her that keeping it in savings was risky because of inflation and convinced her to put it into a deferred annuity. What the banker didn't clearly explain was that Dorothy's money would be locked up for 7 years, with enormous penalties if she needed to access it. When Dorothy found her new home just 3 months later and needed the money, she discovered she'd face a $25,000 surrender charge. She felt trapped and betrayed. How should you handle this question? You can simply say, "I prefer to keep that private," or "I'm just here to make a deposit, thank you." You are under no obligation to discuss your financial plans with a bank employee. If you do want to explore options for your money, tell them you'll think about it and schedule a separate appointment after you've had time to research and possibly consult with an independent financial advisor. Never make major financial decisions in the moment during what you thought was a routine banking transaction. Take the time you need. Any legitimate financial product will still be available next week or next month after you've had time to think and get advice. The third red flag question is, don't you want your money to work harder for you? Or, aren't you tired of earning almost nothing on your savings? This is a classic high-pressure sales tactic that financial advisors warn about constantly. The question is designed to make you feel foolish for keeping money in safe, liquid accounts like savings or checking. It creates anxiety and urgency, which are emotions that lead to poor financial decisions. Investment fraud experts say this is one of the most common approaches used to push seniors into inappropriate investments. Here's what makes this particularly manipulative. The banker is implying that there's something wrong with your current approach and that they have the solution to fix it. Attorneys specializing in financial elder abuse point out that this question preys on fears about outliving your money, not being smart with finances, or missing out on opportunities. It's designed to bypass your rational thinking and trigger an emotional response. Research in behavioral economics shows that people make worse financial decisions when they feel anxious or pressured, which is exactly the state this question is meant to create. The danger is what usually comes next. After making you feel concerned about your current situation, the banker will pitch products that promise higher returns. These might be variable annuities with hidden fees, structured notes you don't understand, high-risk mutual funds, or non-traded REITs that are completely illiquid. Financial planners who work with seniors emphasize that while it's true that savings accounts have low interest rates, they also have zero risk and complete liquidity for money you might need for emergencies, healthcare costs, or major expenses. Safety and accessibility are far more important than maximum returns. Let me tell you about Ruth, a 73-year-old retired teacher with $150,000 in savings, earning about 1% interest. Her banker asked if she was tired of earning nothing and suggested she could easily be making 6 to 8%. Ruth felt silly keeping her money in low-interest savings, so she agreed to move most of it into an investment package. What she didn't fully understand was that this package included risky bonds, emerging market stocks, and other volatile investments, completely inappropriate for someone her age who needed that money to be safe. When the market dropped, Ruth lost $35,000 in just a few months. She was devastated and wished she'd never been made to feel bad about her conservative savings approach. How do you respond to this pressure tactic? You can say confidently, "I'm comfortable with my current strategy," or "I prioritize safety and accessibility over high returns," or "I'm not interested in moving my savings, but thank you." You can also ask directly, "Are you receiving a commission if I invest in what you're suggesting?" This question often makes pushy salespeople back off because it exposes the conflict of interest. Remember that financial advisors who truly have your best interests at heart will never pressure you or make you feel foolish about conservative choices. They'll respect that safety and liquidity are completely reasonable priorities for women your age. The fourth question to watch for is, do you have a will or estate plan in place? Or have you thought about what will happen to your money when you're gone? Now, estate planning is genuinely important, but when this question comes from a banker during what should be a routine interaction, consumer protection experts say it's often a gateway to selling you expensive trust services, insurance products, or investment packages disguised as estate planning tools. Legitimate estate planning should be done with an attorney who specializes in elder law or estate planning, not with a bank employee who earns commissions on financial products. Financial fraud investigators explain that this question is particularly effective because it touches on deep concerns about taking care of your family and not being a burden. It can make you feel guilty or anxious if you haven't completed estate planning, creating an emotional vulnerability that can be exploited. The banker might follow up by suggesting you need special trusts, whole life insurance policies, or complex investment vehicles to protect your heirs or minimize taxes. While some of these tools can be appropriate in certain situations, they're often unnecessary and very expensive. Attorneys who specialize in elder law warn that banks sometimes push living trusts that include the bank as trustee, giving them control over your assets and generating enormous fees. Others push permanent life insurance policies on seniors who don't need life insurance at all, or who would be better served by term insurance at a fraction of the cost. According to consumer protection data, insurance products sold through banks often have much higher fees and commissions than similar products purchased directly from insurance companies or through independent agents. Here's a concerning case. Evelyn, 69 years old, mentioned to her banker that she was worried about her estate going through probate. The banker immediately suggested a revocable living trust with the banker's trustee, plus a whole life insurance policy to cover estate taxes. Evelyn spent $8,000 setting up the trust and committed to paying $6,000 annually for an insurance policy. Later, when she consulted with an independent estate attorney for another matter, she learned that her estate was well under the federal estate tax exemption. She didn't need life insurance since her children were grown and financially independent, and a simple will would have been perfectly adequate for under $1,000. She'd been sold expensive products she didn't need. How should you handle questions about estate planning from your banker? Simply say, "Thank you for your concern, but I work with an attorney for estate planning matters," or "That's something I prefer to discuss with my family and my lawyer." If you genuinely don't have estate planning in place and feel this is an area where you need help, ask the banker for educational materials you can review at home. Then seek out an independent estate planning attorney. You can find qualified attorneys through your state bar association or through referrals from trusted friends. Estate planning is absolutely important, but it should be done thoughtfully with proper legal counsel, not impulsively during a bank visit because someone made you feel anxious about your family's future. The fifth and perhaps most dangerous question is, can I help you avoid taxes on that income? Or would you like to learn about tax-advantaged investments? This question should immediately raise red flags according to financial fraud investigators and tax attorneys. While legal tax planning is perfectly legitimate, when a banker leads with promises of avoiding taxes, they're often about to pitch complex, high-fee products that may not be appropriate for you, or in worst cases, might even involve questionable or illegal tax avoidance schemes. Consumer protection lawyers explain that tax anxiety is an incredibly powerful motivator, especially for seniors on fixed incomes who worry about their money lasting. The fear of losing money to taxes can override rational decision-making and make people agree to things they don't understand. Financial advisors who work with elder clients emphasize that legitimate tax planning is done with CPAs and tax attorneys who have a fiduciary duty to act in your best interests, not with bank employees who earn commissions on products they sell. What products typically follow this question? Often it's variable annuities marketed as tax-deferred investment vehicles. While annuities have legitimate uses in some situations, they're frequently oversold to seniors with promises of tax benefits that don't materialize as advertised. These products often have surrender charges lasting 7 to 10 years, high annual fees of 3% or more, and complex terms that are difficult to understand. Research from the Securities and Exchange Commission shows that unsuitable annuity sales to seniors are one of the most common forms of financial exploitation. Other times, the tax avoidance pitch leads to municipal bonds or bond funds that may be inappropriate for your situation, or to complicated structured products that promise tax benefits but carry significant risks. In extreme cases, unethical bankers have even directed seniors toward offshore accounts or questionable tax shelters that can result in serious legal problems. The Government Accountability Office has documented numerous cases where seniors faced penalties, interest, and legal fees far exceeding any supposed tax savings because they were sold improper tax avoidance schemes. Let me share what happened to Barbara, a 75-year-old woman who had just received a $180,000 distribution from her late husband's retirement account. She knew she'd owe taxes on this money, and when her banker asked if she wanted to avoid those taxes, she was immediately interested. The banker sold her a complicated variable annuity, claiming the money would grow tax-deferred and she wouldn't owe taxes now. What Barbara didn't understand was that she still owed the taxes on the original distribution. The annuity just deferred taxes on future growth that was unlikely to materialize given the high fees. She'd essentially paid immediate taxes, plus locked her money into a high-fee product for years, based on a misunderstanding of how tax deferral actually works. An independent financial advisor later told her she would have been far better off simply paying the taxes and investing in low-cost index funds. How do you respond to tax-related pitches? Be very direct. I work with a tax professional for tax planning, or I'm not interested in tax strategies from my bank, thank you. You can also say, if you're suggesting something related to taxes, I'll need to review it with my CPA before considering it. This makes it clear you have professional advisors and won't make tax-related decisions impulsively. Remember that anything truly beneficial for your tax situation will still be available after you've had time to consult with qualified tax professionals. If someone is pressuring you to act quickly on something related to taxes, That pressure itself is a major warning sign. Now that we've covered all 5 dangerous questions, let's talk about the bigger picture of protecting yourself. Financial empowerment experts emphasize that you have rights and you should never feel pressured or rushed into financial decisions. Here are essential protection strategies that consumer advocates recommend for women your age. First, understand that you can and should separate routine banking from investment decisions. You don't have to discuss your investments with your banker, and you certainly don't have to invest through your bank. Many people find it helpful to bank at one institution for checking and savings, and work with a completely separate, independent, fee-only financial advisor for investment guidance. This separation protects you from the sales pressure that can happen when banks push products to meet quotas. Second, always take time before making any financial decision. Attorneys who represent elder financial abuse victims say that pressure to decide immediately is the #1 red flag for predatory behavior. Legitimate financial professionals will respect your need to think, consult with family or advisors, and make informed decisions. If someone tells you an offer expires today, that you'll miss out if you don't act now, or that rates are about to change, these are manipulation tactics. Walk away. Financial products and opportunities are always available. There is no rush. Third, ask these key questions before agreeing to any financial product. How are you compensated for selling this to me? What are all the fees associated with this product? Can I have written materials to review at home? What are the surrender charges or penalties if I need to access my money? Is this product FDIC insured? Am I giving up access to my money? And for how long? Financial planners who truly have your interests at heart will answer these questions clearly and provide written documentation without hesitation. Fourth, involve trusted family members or friends in major financial decisions when possible. Studies from the National Adult Protective Services Association show that financial exploitation happens far less frequently when seniors discuss significant financial matters with family members or trusted advisors before making decisions. You might tell your banker, "I want to review this with my daughter before deciding," or "My son helps me with major financial decisions, so I'll need to discuss this with him." This immediately signals that someone else will be reviewing what's being proposed. Fifth, document everything. Keep detailed notes about meetings with bank personnel, including names, dates, what was discussed, and what was recommended. Save all paperwork, statements, and correspondence. If you ever need to file a complaint or take legal action, documentation is crucial. Consumer protection attorneys say that good records are your strongest defense if something goes wrong. Sixth, know where to report problems. If you believe you've been subjected to predatory sales tactics, you have several options. You can file a complaint with the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau at http://consumerfinance.gov, http://consumerfinance.gov Smart Card Inline. You can report to your state banking commissioner. You can contact your state attorney general's office. For investment-related issues, the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority has a complaint process. These agencies take elder financial exploitation seriously and investigate complaints. What if you've already been pressured into something and now realize it was a mistake? Don't panic and don't be embarrassed. This happens to intelligent, capable people all the time because these sales tactics are sophisticated and deliberately manipulative. Depending on what you purchased and how long ago, you may have options. Many financial products have a free look period, often 10 to 30 days, during which you can cancel without penalty. Read your contract carefully to see if you're still within that window. If the free look period has passed, you can still take action. Consult with a fee-only financial advisor who can review what you purchased and advise whether it's appropriate for your situation. If they determine you were sold something unsuitable, you may have grounds to file a complaint or even legal action. Consumer protection attorneys sometimes take elder financial abuse cases on contingency, meaning they only get paid if you recover money. Don't assume you're stuck with a bad decision. Explore your options. It's also worth noting that banks themselves have compliance departments that take sales violations seriously, especially those involving vulnerable customers. If you believe a bank employee acted inappropriately, consider writing a detailed letter to the bank's compliance officer or regional manager explaining what happened. Banks don't want the liability and bad publicity that comes with elder financial abuse, and they may work with you to resolve the situation. Perhaps most importantly, learn from the experience and commit to protecting yourself going forward. Forgive yourself for trusting someone who betrayed that trust. That's on them, not on you. Your generation was taught to respect professionals and authority figures, which is an admirable quality that made our society function. Unfortunately, some people exploit that trust. Moving forward, you're now equipped with knowledge about warning signs and protection strategies. Let's talk about what empowerment looks like in practice. It means walking into a bank with confidence, handling your specific banking need, and politely but firmly declining any unsolicited advice or product pitches. It means saying, "No, thank you. I'm only here to deposit this check," and not feeling rude or uncomfortable about it. It means understanding that you don't owe bank employees explanations about your money, your plans, or your life. It means recognizing that your comfort and security are more important than being polite to someone who's pressuring you. Financial independence at your age is precious. You've worked hard your entire life to build your savings. Whether you worked in a career, managed a household, raised children, or all of the above, you earned that money through years of effort, sacrifice, and wise choices. You deserve to keep it safe and use it to support the life you want to live now. Don't let anyone make you feel guilty, scared, or foolish about conservative financial choices. Safety and accessibility are not weaknesses, they're wisdom. Remember that you have experience and life wisdom that young bank employees don't have. You've lived through economic ups and downs. You understand that markets can crash. You know that things that sound too good to be true usually are. Trust those instincts. If something feels wrong, if you feel pressured, if you don't fully understand what's being proposed, honor that feeling. Your intuition, honed over decades of life experience, is valuable. Listen to it. I also want to address something important. There's no shame in asking for help. If you genuinely feel you need assistance with financial decisions, that's perfectly reasonable. Many people do. But get help from the right sources. Fee-only financial advisors who are legally required to act as fiduciaries, meaning they must put your interests first. Estate planning attorneys for wills and trusts, CPAs for tax advice. These professionals don't earn commissions on products they sell you because they don't sell products. They earn fees for their advice, which removes the conflict of interest. Organizations like the National Association of Personal Financial Advisors can help you find fee-only advisors in your area. Your family can also be a resource if you have relatives you trust. Many adult children are happy to help their parents navigate financial decisions, not because they think you're incapable, but because financial products have become increasingly complex and predatory tactics more sophisticated. There's strength in asking for support, not weakness. What's important is that you remain in control of your own money and your own decisions, just with trusted people helping you understand all the implications. As we close, I want to emphasize the central message of this video. You have the right to protect your money, to ask questions, to take your time to seek independent advice, and to say no. You don't have to be a financial expert to protect yourself. You just need to recognize warning signs, trust your instincts, and refuse to be pressured. The 5 questions we covered today are your red flags. When you hear them, your internal alarm should sound. Proceed with extreme caution or simply walk away. Your financial security directly impacts your independence, your quality of life, and your ability to live on your terms in the years ahead. Every dollar you protect from unsuitable fees, risky investments, or predatory products is a dollar that supports your life, your choices, and your peace of mind. You've earned it, you deserve it, and you absolutely have both the right and the ability to protect it. If you found this information helpful, please give this video a like and subscribe to our channel for more practical advice on protecting yourself financially and living your best life. We'd love to hear from you in the comments. Have you ever experienced pressure from a banker or financial professional? How did you handle it? Your experiences could help other viewers recognize and avoid similar situations. And if you want to learn more about protecting your finances, check out our video on how to spot financial scams targeting seniors, where we cover phone scams, online fraud, and other tactics designed to steal from older adults. Your financial security matters, your independence matters, and you have everything you need to protect both. Stay informed, stay confident, and never let anyone pressure you